Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. What we are doing here today, and what we will do every Saturday morning here for the remainder of the season, is hop up on a live stream, answer some questions that you guys may have, because I know these weekends are the most important time for me to be available to answer your guys' fantasy football questions as those lineup decisions are coming in. We get the new news on the injuries and all of that good stuff. But we're also going to be taking some of the time to draft some teams on Underdog Fantasy. If you guys are not familiar, they allow you to draft 1 week teams where we basically just draft off of the Sunday games. You can draft Thursday or Monday or whatever you want. We'll just draft the Sunday games, but you can draft 1 week of teams, and it's little tournaments for like $20,000, $100,000, $300,000 in prizes. A lot of fun stuff over here on Underdog Fantasy. So that is kind of the plan here for today's episode. We are going to be drafting a team, actually a couple of teams, and we'll be answering some questions. So that being said, let me pull this up. This is going to be the first little tournament that we get into today. This is a $3 entry, 20,000 in prizes, but it's called the Hurry Up 3. So this is what we're going to be drafting. We'll talk about some of these players, how I feel about some of these guys. But if you guys want to enter this tournament with us, I am going to be clicking enter in about 10 seconds. So I'll give you guys a little bit of time here, and we'll click that enter button. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit enter on that thing. And then we can confirm that. That way we are in there. So hopefully somebody was able to get in here with us. If not, all good. But these are smaller drafts. So you see, we only have a few people in here that we're going to be drafting against. It has to be that way because we're only going off of like a main slate on Sunday. So we do have, 6 people in this draft? That's the idea. And we're going to be drafting at the 103. So here, overall, obviously there's a couple players that I think are going to be good this week. I think going with a guy like Tyreek, CeeDee, Jefferson, Allen, these guys all make sense. But I want to look at these quarterbacks because you have C.J. Stroud, you have Anthony Richardson, you have Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Tua. We're good at the quarterback position. We can wait on that just a little bit here in this type of lineup. I apologize. I got a cat here. She's on an automatic feeder, so the feeder drops food here in about 20 minutes, and she's ready for it now. So she's complaining right now. But we'll see if she's going to be a nuisance or not. Come on. There we go. She'll get some screen time, I guess. That being said, though, we are going to be drafting here in just a second. 30 seconds on the clock for the 101, and then we'll go from there. I think maybe, waiting on the quarterback, that's probably what I want to do. Let me check the tight ends because sometimes the tight ends can get slim. We do have – let's take that off. There's enough tight ends I feel comfortable as long as we come away with one of those guys. Let's take CeeDee. Actually, you know what? We'll take Bijan. We'll see if we can get a wide receiver on the way back because there are still Marvin Harrison, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. I still like all of those options there at the wide receiver position. Now, just to give you guys an idea of the lineup, we are looking at, where is it? 1 QB, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back, 1 flex. So basically the only position where you need 2 of is going to be the wide receiver, and that's really all you need. So after that, you're just drafting pretty much 1 at each position. I guess you could have 3 wide receivers if you really want because of the flex position, but that's really it. Well, there goes CeeDee. So obviously not, the guy we're going to get on the way back, but I think Jamar Chase would be my selection if he comes back around. He says he's most likely playing. I think he is going to play. I think we might be able to get a value here if people are worried about him not playing. But we'll see. Jay Cooper here is a little nervous, it looks like. He's using the whole clock. Might even get autoed. Devon Achane. And if you're wondering what these little coins are around Bijan, it's actually called vulture protection. So if you play any pick'em lines over here on Underdog Fantasy, they have vulture protection where, like, if he gets vultured, basically in fantasy football, by Tyler Algier or somebody else on the goal line rushing, that pick'em play that one gets voided, so it doesn't matter. You don't lose if he gets vultured. So it's kind of cool that Underdog is doing that right now. So here we go. We had Nico and Jonathan Taylor. We just need one guy right here, red guy, to not take Jamar, and he didn't. So we will go Jamar Chase here with Jamar and Bijan here in week 1. And that feels pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Being able to have that as our first team here in this first little draft feels good. I do see we have a question here from Harisk, sorry if I butchered that. Joshua Palmer or Brian Thomas Jr. in PPR. Give me Joshua Palmer. I like Joshua Palmer this week. Now, here we are with our next play. Trey McBride. I'm actually just going to go with Marvin Harrison. I think Marvin Harrison is going to have a really good week as well. We'll go with him and Jamar. That gives us 2 wide receivers. So we have our 2 starting wide receivers, our 1 running back. Now we need a quarterback, a running back, a tight end, and a flex. And we should have our lineup straight here. So not bad, man. I have Marvin Harrison as a top 12 play this week. I have Jamar Chase as a top 12 play. We have Bijan Robinson as a top 5 play at the running back position. We should be pretty good here in this lineup. It's going actually pretty well. Having Trey McBride fall, even a guy like Jake Ferguson, I feel confident in still. I think we're okay at the tight end. The running back, I'm okay waiting too because we don't necessarily need to have anybody who's super elite. I think all of these guys are still good, especially considering that once you draft one of them, you really don't need a second one. And getting Trey McBride, if Trey McBride can fall, that would be really good, being able to stack him with like a Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray might actually be my pick here if we can get him on this turnaround. We might go with the QB. No problem. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. We did have C.J. Stroud come off the board. If we can get Kyler Murray, that's the guy that I want. McLaurin off the board. And then what do we do here? Hopefully leave us. I mean, Trey McBride is fallen. Do we just take Trey McBride and try and get the stack here with Kyler Murray? I feel like if we get McBride, we're not going to get Murray. If we get Murray, we're not going to get McBride. I feel like that's kind of the gamble here. That's probably not going to work for us either way. I think because we have Marv, I'd rather already just get the stack at QB. He might get autoed McBride. He didn't. But I think I'd rather just go with the stack, guarantee one of them. If we can get the super stack, I'll do that after. But Kyler, he's going to be the pick for us here this week. This lineup, I love this lineup for this week. This feels really good so far. I didn't expect it to be this good already. If McBride goes, I'm okay going with Pitts or Ferguson. I'm also okay going with like Kenneth Walker or a guy like Joe Mixon even at running back. I think these are very solid plays at the running back position for us this week. There goes Kenneth. Let's see what else we can make happen here. Obviously, if that works out, that's great. Being able to do that. If not, we can audible, but we should be okay. Pittman go, so it guarantees us one of these two. McBride, Mixon at the flex maybe. We don't even need that. Let's go with McBride. There's the tight end. We got the super stack with Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison, and Kyler Murray. Now what do we need? We just need one more, one flex. That's it. And then we're done. And that's a decent team. Maybe too invested in that Arizona Cardinals offense, but the reality is we got a good value on Trey McBride. We got Marvin Harrison at a fair value. We got Jamar Chase, on a discount because people are worried about him not playing. I'm feeling all right about this team, man. I'm feeling okay about it. I think that Buffalo Bills game and that Arizona Cardinals game is going to be pretty high scoring. And so there should be enough points for McBride and Marvin to go around. And I bet not a lot of teams in some of these bigger tournaments, getting unique is actually a benefit to you. So, I bet not a lot of teams have been able to get Murray, Marvin, and McBride just because the ADP of these guys is all pretty similar. It makes it hard to do that. We just got him at a really weird discount. You know what? I think I'm going to end up going with my flex. Do I want it to be Mixon or do I want it to be Waddle? Waddle or Mixon? I want to go with one of these guys. Pitts goes. I think we'll shoot for the upside of the bell cow type of role that Mixon could be in. High scoring, get into the end zone. We'll go with Mixon. That should give us a pretty solid team. Let's wait for this one. See, we got Smooth Criminal. He says maybe Shakir on the bring back. He could have been an option. I just felt like we had too good of players already there. So let's look at this team real quick. We will look at it because I feel like that team's solid, man. Kyler, Bijan, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, and Trey McBride. Very solid roster here in this one. We only are going to do the one single entry in that hurry-up 3, so 2K to first place. But let's go and do another one. I'm going to set this one up. We'll go back over here. If you guys have any fantasy football questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We're going to get ready for our second underdog draft of the day. We're only going to do about 2 or 3 of them. But this is going to be the one that we're going to be doing over here. This is a mini Royale week 1. So you got 100,000 in prizes. It's a $5 entry. Pretty much the same idea as the other one. You get the main slate on Sunday that we're drafting from. You get the 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, a flex, and a tight end. So kind of the same idea here. But this is going to be the one that we're entering. I'm going to enter it in about 5 seconds. So if you want to join with us on Underdog, get your app open right now. Get ready to go join a mini Royale on week 1. But I'll give you about 5 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go. We're about to enter that one. And let's see what we can do in this one. This one, I hope we draft a little bit from a little bit of a different spot. And that way it gives us some variety, I guess, in what we're drafting from. And we'll just go from there. There you are. We're full, so we're just waiting on this draft to start. Let's see where the draft position is at. And it's going to be the 101, baby. So I like that. So that gives us the number 1 choice here on the board. Tyreek is the highest in my rankings at the moment at wide receiver. And then at running back, the highest running back in my rankings this week is obviously CMC, but he's not on this, so Bijan would be the second. We just took Bijan. Why don't we just take Tyreek Hill here and not really worry about it? And then we can maybe try and get some uniqueness down the way. So we'll go with Tyreek Hill. He'll be the selection. What's this little declares full health? I don't know why that I is next to him. I don't know what that is. But he'll be our selection. We just got to wait for this draft to start. But now we're going to be drafting at the turn, so we kind of have to wait, a long way. Taylor says, what do you think of Love's injury? Obviously, that wasn't fun to see that happen at the end of the game. And also very unfortunate. Tough situation to put Malik Willis in as well. Coming off cold and going to 5 seconds left in the game, you have to throw the game-winning touchdown here. I think, obviously, we have to wait until we get some more information. The last piece of news that I saw this morning from Ian, I think it was Ian Rappaport, or it's Tom Pelissero. He says that the initial test indicated that Jordan Love's ACL was intact. So there is optimism that it is not an ACL injury. There could be a couple other injuries that happen here, but at the end of the day, right now, it sounds like the severity of this is unknown. The test on his knee will have to continue once he gets in Green Bay. Obviously, not what you want to see out of one of the first games of the year. A big player like Jordan Love, especially in fantasy football, especially in real life. Packers have real hopes of being able to be a real contender. Unfortunate. You don't want to see that. But what do I think about it? We're just waiting and seeing, man. But it is unfortunate. It sucks. I saw, some people victory lapping it on the internet. I don't know why. Victory lapping injuries is so bad, man. We should not be doing that. We don't ever want to see, good players in this league get hurt. And, it's just a better product for us as consumers and just everything in general if all of the good players are still on the football field. So Unfortunate. Obviously, we're hoping for the best for Jordan Love, but sounds like the initial tests are at least optimistic, which is good. All right, so let's see. On this one, we're gonna try and maybe go with. I think I might try and go with a double up here. I think I really want to grab a guy like. Oh, I was thinking about getting Mike Evans. Maybe what we'll do is we'll take Rachaad White as my running back, lean on him, and then what if we take Nico? Maybe Nico as the wide receiver 2 on this team. Just rock with that. That's a little bit different. I wanted to go Marvin Harrison is the highest in my rankings again, but like I said, you want to get a little bit unique sometimes, and I don't necessarily want to have a whole bunch invested in just one guy, especially if we're only doing 3 teams. Like, if I have Marvin on 2 rosters and he has a bad week, that pretty much kills 3 teams right away. So I don't really want to have a lot of the same players in these lineups, but I want to try and build lineups that are unique, and I want to build lineups that still have upside. So I think Nico Collins can still have a good week. I have him just 1 spot lower than Marvin Harrison in my rankings this week, but that shouldn't be a big deal, especially when you have Tyreek Hill on the roster. So we'll see what happens. Why is everyone fading Trey McBride? Oh, there we go. He's not faded in this one, but he was getting faded a little bit. We could get a Tua stack maybe, Stroud stack if we wanted it. Maybe we don't want it at all, and we just want to rock with a Dak Prescott or a Jaden Daniels. I don't know. Maybe we wait on our quarterback being last. Maybe that's our last pick in this draft. I think that's what we'll do in this one. We'll make that our last selection. But we still got to grab a flex. If Marvin is still there on the turn, I'm going to take Marvin again. If not, I like London this week. I'll take London, maybe Olave. I like James Cook too. I have James Cook quite high in my rankings. I have him as a... Where do I have him? I have him right behind Rachaad White as a top 15 play. So, these are kind of the options. Let's go Cook, Marv. London just came off the board. Yeah, that's probably all we're looking at the moment. I guess we need to look at one more. Olave, maybe. Where do I have Kenneth Walker? I have Kenneth Walker as a... I actually have Kenneth Walker as one of the highest plays in my rankings this week. So actually we should put Kenneth Walker above these guys. Let's go with... I mean, we still have Marv, so why not? Actually, you know what? Yeah, we can't have multiple running backs. So we'll go with Kenneth Walker here. We will go with... That'll be our flex. Actually, we're cooked, actually. We can't take all of those guys. What am I doing? We'll go with Kyle Pitts. See what Kyle Pitts can do for us. Yeah, because that would only leave... I almost messed up there. Thought I was drafting a whole team for whatever reason. That gives us Rachaad White, Kenneth Walker in the flex, Tyreek, Nico, Kyle Pitts. Very different lineup. Maybe we should have went Marvin as the flex, but Kenneth Walker as the flex still feels good, especially against that Denver defense. You know, Denver last year was 30th overall against the fantasy football running back position. 24.1 fantasy points per game is what they gave up. That is a lot of points, and Kenneth Walker could find himself into a lot of points here this weekend as well. So maybe it was just fine to do that with Kenneth Walker. But now we got to grab our quarterback. We can go with a Tua stack. And then if that's not it, I'm okay going for some upside with like Joe. If not Joe, maybe we go with a guy like Jaden Daniels. Joe's actually probably not going to pass that much against New England. I don't mind Jaden Daniels. I don't mind Tua. I think Tua will be my first choice if we can get him to stack with Tyreek. That's the move. If not, we'll take Jaden Daniels. I feel good about either way. Then we'll hit one more draft here. See what we can do. See if we can finish this weekend's stream up. I'm going to be doing a start-sit stream on tomorrow morning before the game. So if you have any fantasy football questions tomorrow before the games, that's definitely something we're going to be doing. Just make sure you are tapped in and make sure you're subscribed, because only subscribers can ask questions in the comment section. So make sure you're subscribed for that. I think we'll get Tua. I mean, obviously he already has a quarterback, so there's no reason why he should be drafting one. And he gets Marvin that late. That's insane. So let's look at this squad real quick. Kyler. Actually, that is not the squad that we just drafted. Whatever. I don't know where it just went. Whatever. Let's go back here one more time. And then we'll go get one more of these lobbies in. This is going to be the big one. We went with the mini Royale. This is going to be the battle. Sorry, I don't know why I just hit the outro accidentally. This is going to be the Battle Royale, which is their biggest tournament. It has $300,000 in prizes. So that's what we'll do on this one. Same thing. We've been doing it. You guys kind of already know the deal right now. It is the 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back, 1 flex. So we'll hit enter. We'll go into this draft, and then we'll draft this team, and this is going to be the big one. So hopefully we get some good values here. If not, it's no big deal. But that'll be our 3 teams. So because this is the last draft of this stream, very quick one, 30 minutes in, 30 minutes out, pretty quick, pretty standard. If there was more questions coming in the chat, it probably would go a little bit longer, but it doesn't seem like we have a ton of questions here today, which is fine. It's only week 1. You don't really have to make a ton of tough lineup decisions here in week 1. But if you have any questions, this is the last draft we are doing, so make sure you get them in the chat. Want to make sure that we help you guys out here on Saturday before we get to the Sunday game, just in case you won't be available for Sunday's stream. I just got a notification, too, saying that tests indicate Jordan Love's ACL is intact. So it does sound like the ACL is pretty it does sound like good things for Jordan Love right now. Still maybe going to miss some time, but it does sound like at least it's not season-ending, which is good. Thank God that it's not season-ending. But let's see. We got Tyreek, CD, Jefferson. I don't mind going with any of these options here to start the week. I think the plan will most likely be to go with Jefferson or maybe Bijan if we can get one of them. I don't know. I guess we'll just go with Jefferson. I'm going to go Jefferson over CD just because that matchup with Cleveland is a little bit tough. There went CD anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. We'll go Justin Jefferson. We have to grab a running back on the way back around. Hopefully we can get one decent. It does seem like the running backs are coming off the board quicker in these drafts, which is fine. It's a 1-week format, right? So we're not too worried about it. Bijan would be the top guy in my rankings, followed by Jonathan Taylor, followed by Travis Etienne, followed by Devon Achane, and then who would be next? Ken Walker. Those would be the top 5. I had Henry, Jacobs, probably White and Cook next. So those would be the next guys in my rankings at the running back position. We might feel comfortable getting one of them on the turn back around. But because ETN is there, he's going to be my pick because I think he is in a different tier than these guys this week. So we'll go ETN, we'll go Jefferson to start this draft off. Finn says, if T and Jamar don't play, is Andre Yoshivash a must play? I don't know if he's a must play. You can play him in week 1. I feel like you should have other options. Like, I'm not going to play Yoshavash over a guy like, I'm just trying to think of like who would be like a flex play for you. Like, if you're debating between, I don't know. I'm just looking at my rankings. Like Tank Dell and Yoshavash, you rather go Tank Dell. If you're waiting between like Christian Kirk and Yoshavash, Deontay Johnson and Yoshavash, like I'd rather go with those guys. Even a guy like JSN, like I probably am taking JSN over Yoshavash this week, even if he's out. We just don't know what Yoshavash is. That feels like an unnecessary risk for you to take in week 1. So this is actually a good value here on Mike Evans. We'll take Mike Evans here. It just, you can. So he says Mostert. So do you play him over Mostert? No, I'm not playing him over Mostert. I'm still playing Mostert. You can play him in a deep league, sure, fine. But he's not. I wouldn't classify him as a must play by any means. Shade says half PPR, 2 wide receiver, and a flex. Adams, Mike Evans, Waddle, and Ken Walker. Half PPR, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Of this group, the guy, 2 wide receivers and a flex. I don't mind Adams this week. I don't mind Waddle this week. Evans and Waddle would be the top 2 for me. I think I might go Evans, Waddle, and Ken Walker. I think those are going to be the 3 that I go here in this situation. And speaking of Waddle, actually, you know what? Speaking of Waddle, let's take Waddle in this matchup here. 2 wide receivers. Okay, flex. So we should be good. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Shade. I would go with Evans, Waddle, and Ken Walker. Finn says, my flex and wide receivers to start are Debo, Moore, Ridley, and Mostert. Yeah, I'm not starting Yoshavash over any of those guys. Would you drop Chase below Neighbors this week? No. If Jamar Chase is playing, if Jamar Chase is suited up, he's a top 10 play at the wide receiver position this week. I know that he's, cold and he hasn't practiced. If he plays, he's a top 10 play. There's just no overthinking it, to be honest. Is there injury risk, with a guy that, doesn't practice all offseason and then comes in and does that? Sure. But I'm not going to bump Jamar Chase down my rankings by any means. We get Kyler Murray. That feels really good. Kyler Murray there, because I think I've already talked about how much I like Kyler Murray this offseason. Having him with ETN, Jefferson, Adams, Waddle. Now we just need a tight end. Give me Pitts, Ferguson. I'm good with either. I think Ferguson would be my play if I could get one of these 2, just because we already have one Kyle Pitts share this weekend. But damn, we got Jake Ferguson. Nobody wants Kyle Pitts, huh? We're fading Kyle Pitts. It's okay. I'll buy in. I'll do it. There's Joe Burrow. Here's Kyle Pitts. Why not? Pitts, Waddle, Evans, Jefferson, ETN, Murray. That should fill the lineup. And then we'll look at some of the exposure here for just this weekend, because not anything crazy. Like I said, we only drafted 3 teams here for week 1, which isn't a lot, but it was, just enough to give us some stuff to watch and hang out with on stream, answer some questions, have some extra, money on the line, I guess, this weekend. Who doesn't love a little money on the line? Put yourself in just one little ticket into a $300,000 tournament. Why not? That's the fun of letting this ride every weekend. Once he picks his selection, we'll be able to see who we got. And then from there, we'll see. So here's the exposure. 3 teams. We got Kyler Murray on 2 of them. Kyle Pitts on 2 of them. Then we have some Jamar, Jefferson, Tyreek. Everything else is about 1. But this weekend, I guess we're rooting for Kyler Murray and we're rooting for Kyle Pitts. If they have big weeks, we should have have a decent chance at some money here in some of these tournaments. So that is going to be the 2 teams, or the most rostered players for us, is Kyler Murray and Kyle Pitts. And I didn't even want Kyle Pitts, but he just fell to us, so why not? We got him as the last pick in 2 different drafts back to back. So that being said, guys, we have drafted the 3 teams that we wanted to draft. We're going to do this every Saturday. As I said, as the questions come in, obviously at this part of the stream, after the teams have been drafted, and if there's still a bunch of questions that are flowing in, we'll spend some time and we'll answer questions for a long time. But we just haven't had that many questions today. That being said, if you do have any questions that pop up between now and tomorrow morning, we are going to be doing a live stream, a start-sit live stream, an hour or two before game time. It'll be up on the channel tonight, so you guys will know what time that you need to be there if you want some start-sit questions. That being said, I have nothing really else for you guys today. If you haven't checked out some of the other stuff this weekend or this week that we've made, did top 36 running back rankings for this week, top 36 wide receiver rankings, must start, must sit players this week, whole bunch of stuff. Players you should be stashing before tomorrow's games. That way you can beat the waiver wire here in week 2. Lots of ways. We're making lots of content, man, and lots of ways to help you get an advantage over your league mates. That way you guys can win your fantasy football championships this year. Hopefully, with the help of us and with the help of some of the content here. That's the goal, man. We want to help you guys win some championships, get some hardware on the shelves, a trophy, a Super Bowl ring, whatever it may be that your league does. If your league doesn't do it, hopefully you're playing for some money, and if you're playing for some money or some bragging rights, you can get yourself a Super Bowl ring or a trophy. But that being said, I have nothing else for you guys today. I appreciate your time this morning, drafting some teams with me, hanging out in the chat. Thank you, Smooth Criminal. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Finn. Thank you, Shades. Thank you, Lee. All of you guys that have been in here, I appreciate you all. I see we got a couple of questions actually that just barely came in right before we end, so we'll hit these couple questions and then we'll get on out of here. But Javier says, Stafford or Purdy, is Reed a sell high or hold? Reed is, if you can sell high right now, I don't mind it. I think he's more of a hold, but if you can sell high, depending on how high, that's fine. Stafford or Purdy, I like Stafford more this week in my rankings. I think that game is going to be really good, so I'd probably play Matthew Stafford. Jacob says, currently starting Dak at Cleveland. Would you consider starting Jaden Daniels over him? Worried about how Dak will perform against that Cleveland D on the road? For me, assuming that you're in a 4-point passing touchdown, I have Jaden Daniels as my quarterback 11 on the week. I have Dak Prescott as my quarterback 17 on the week. So I would probably throw in Jaden Daniels over Dak Prescott just because that is going to be a tough matchup. Smooth Criminal, I see we got the peace sign. I appreciate you. Like I said, Johnny, late, it is fine. The attendance still counts. You just got it tardy. But that said, those were the last few questions. So as I mentioned, thank you everybody who hopped in here. Thank you for giving me some time this afternoon. Johnny, I'll see you on the flip, man. Sorry you came in at the very last second, but I have nothing else for you today, so I will see you on our next episode. Until then, peace out, folks. See you later.